I'm Citrus County Sheriff Mike Prendergast, and as we make our preparations for Hurricane Michael and its effects on the Nature Coast area, we have a special privilege today that Governor Scott has stopped by and met with Emergency Operations Center folks, talked to our Emergency Management Director, and had an opportunity to get an update on what preparations we've been doing across the county since we got the word that Hurricane Michael would be a potential impact for Citrus County and 145,000 residents. And the governor's been traveling around the state, talking to emergency management officials, of course our great Adjutant General, General Calhoun, in making the preparations before Hurricane Michael makes landfall during the early morning hours, most likely tomorrow morning. And what I'd like to do now is introduce the 45th governor of the great state of Florida, Governor Rick Scott.
Good afternoon. I just received a briefing on Hurricane Michael from Emergency Management here in Citrus County. Let me be clear, Hurricane Michael is a monstrous storm and the forecast keeps getting more dangerous. We are now just hours away from seeing impacts. Again, Hurricane Michael is coming to the Gulf Coast and Panhandle, and impacts will start in just a few hours. The time to prepare is right now. The storm is dangerous, and if you don't follow warnings from officials, this storm could kill you, and you cannot take it lightly. Yesterday, I formally asked President Trump to issue a pre-landfall disaster declaration that will allow us to draw down more federal resources. As soon as this is approved, I'll get that information to you. I also spoke with the President yesterday. He committed to providing any and all federal assistance Florida may need. We have declared a state of emergency in 35 Florida counties. This allows state, federal, and local emergency managers to be able to quickly respond to this disaster. Yesterday, I announced the closure of state offices in the 35 counties currently under our emergency order. I've spoken to FEMA Administrator Brock Long again today, and a team from FEMA is in the State Emergency Operations Center and providing federal assistance. And that includes experts from Homeland Security, the EPA, the Department of Defense, Health and Human Services, and the Army Corps of Engineers. At my direction, the State Emergency Operations Center is fully activated. This means the State Emergency Response Team is on 24-hour response. We are 100% focused on preparing for Hurricane Michael. Here's what the state is doing right now. I have activated 2,500 National Guardsmen for storm response. They have deployed with boats. On law enforcement, 120 Fish and Wildlife officers are ready for deployment and will respond with a variety of specialized equipment, including shallow draft boats, ATVs, airboats, and four-wheel drive vehicles. The Florida Highway Patrol is making nearly 350 troopers available for deployment across the Panhandle, and they have transitioned to 12-hour shifts. Law enforcement will also be manning bridges to make sure that when conditions become too dangerous, the bridges are closed. Listen to these officers. Law enforcement and our National Guard around our state are heroes, and so many will be leaving their families and placing themselves in danger during the storm to help you and others. We are very grateful for their dedication. Transportation. The Florida Department of Transportation is actively monitoring Hurricane Michael and is preparing crews in anticipation of landfall. To help with evacuations, I directed the Florida Department of Transportation to waive all tolls in the Panhandle. This includes Midway Bridge and Spence Parkway in Okaloosa, Garkin Point Bridge in Santa Rosa County, Lobstock's Toll Bridge in Escambia County, and Orchard Pond Parkway in Leon County. Fuel. Right now, we do not have widespread fuel outages in the state. The State Emergency Response Team has been holding regular calls with the fuel industry and ports in Florida to ensure they can get gas to the areas safely. Floridians can download the app Gas Buddy to check where fuel is available. We will be monitoring fuel throughout the day. This is a top priority, and our goal is to continue to make sure fuel is flowing. We will do everything we can to make sure gas stations continue to have fuel. If we need to support them by helping them get the fuel faster to our gas stations, we'll do that. Health facilities response. The Florida Agency for Healthcare Administration is in contact with healthcare facilities to ensure they have the resources they need. The Florida Department of Health has 5 ambulance strike teams and 35 special needs shelter teams ready to deploy. Expectations are, if you're responsible for a patient, you're responsible for that safety of that patient through this entire storm. Shelters. The Florida Department of Education is working with local districts to ensure they have everything they need to open shelters quickly. I want to thank our school superintendents and your school and superintendent right here in Citrus County for their willingness to open shelters and respond to the needs of our communities. They are doing everything they can to both keep people safe during the storm, and then they want to quickly get these schools back open as soon as Michael passes. Shelters have been opening across the Panhandle. As counties provide us information on shelter openings, that information will be posted on floridadisaster.org. So you can keep track of when these are openings on floridadisaster.org. So they're continuing to open. We are already seeing a significant number of mandatory evacuations being ordered in counties across the Panhandle. If you're under evacuation order, listen to it. Leave now. Do not take a chance. You don't know if roads are going to get closed. We're going to do everything we can to help you, but do not wait. If there's an evacuation order, go to safety. If you're on the fence, don't think about it. Do it. This storm can kill you. Remember, during a storm, first responders, they can't come out in the middle of the storm. They can't come out and save you. So it's too dangerous. You have got to put yourself in a position where you're not in harm's way. So you need to evacuate if you're ordered to do so. The evacuations are not fun, they're not convenient. There's nothing good about evacuations other than it's going to save your life. I always think about my mom growing up. A lot of people don't have a lot of extra money sitting in the bank, and so they don't think, oh gosh, can I afford this? You can't afford to take a risk with your life. There are so many people in Florida ready to help you, and there's no excuse for you not to keep your family safe. Visit Florida. They have activated a partnership with Expedia. You can go, it's a hotel partnership with them. You can go to visitexpedia.com you can go to expedia.com/Florida for hotel availability. So here's what we know right now. The National Hurricane Center is active hurricane, storm surge, and tropical storm warnings and watches along the Gulf Coast. Tampa Bay remains under both storm surge and tropical storm watches. As the storm approaches, there will be significant threats of tornadoes. It's critical for you to listen to local news reports. Hurricane Michael is a massive storm that could bring total devastation to parts of our state, especially in this part and in and as you go up through the Panhandle. Think about the destruction we've seen before with storms like Hurricane Irma. Hurricane Michael poses a deadly threat, and as it grows stronger, we can expect it to make landfall as a major Category 3 storm on Wednesday along the Gulf Coast. And remember, these storms can speed up, so that's why do not wait. The Panhandle and Big Bend will likely see winds in excess of 110 miles per hour. 110 miles per hour. Pensacola could see sustained hurricane-force winds of 75 miles per hour. Tallahassee, 75 miles per hour or more. So this is a massive storm. Hurricane Michael is forecast to be the most destructive storm to hit the Florida Panhandle in decades. Storm will be life-threatening and it will be dangerous. Storm will bring torrential rain to most of the Panhandle of Big Bend, which means flooding will be a major issue. We expect to see up to 12 inches of rain in some areas of the Panhandle. So think about that. A foot of rain is expected in some parts of the Panhandle. What that's going to mean, you're going to get flooding. The National Hurricane Center is forecasting storm surge. The thing that I think I'm most concerned about right now, people don't realize the risk of storm surge. They're anticipating storm surge of up to 8 to 12 feet between Indian Pass and Gulf County and Cedar Key and Levy County. That means the water's going to come in and it's going to come miles inshore, and it's easily to rise above the roofs of houses. 8 to 12 feet, 6 to 8, 12. It's all deadly. I cannot stress enough how dangerous this storm surge can be. Between Cedar Key and the Crystal River, we're expecting to see 6 to 8 feet of surge. 6 to 8 feet of surge. Think about this. When you watch those videos about the tsunamis, that's like 3 feet, and that's deadly. So we're talking about more than that. Much of the rest of the Gulf Coast will see between 2 and 6 feet of storm surge, which is still life-threatening. Think about it this way. If the storm hits near Panama City, the Tampa area is still going to see life-threatening storm surge. That's how massive this thing is. You cannot hide. There is no way to hide from storm surge. It's impossible. So get prepared and get out if an evacuation is ordered. Every family must be prepared now. Remember, we can rebuild homes. I mean, look, it's going to be frustrating this happens to you. I mean, you'll be frustrated, you'll be furious, you'll be so disappointed if this happens to your house. But we can rebuild your house. We cannot rebuild your life. So take this seriously. Take care of your kids, take care of your grandkids, take care of all your family members, your parents. You can't rebuild a life. Local governments, let's make sure everybody's got what they need. And we need to have a power restoration plan. We've heard from, talked to a variety of the energy companies. Duke said they have 5,000 personnel pre-positioned to deploy. Gulf Power has 3,000, and I talked to Stan Conley. They're going to be adding more. I just got off the phone with Eric Szilagyi at Florida Power and Light. They've pre-positioned 1,400 individuals in 3 different locations, and they've got another 1,800 ready to respond. So across the state, we have 13,000 Florida restoration workers ready, and they're already staged for the response, and more are being made ready today. We've got to do everything we can to, once this thing passes, we're going to lose power, to get the power back on as quickly as we can. I don't want to, we got to keep the fuel flowing, and we got to get the power back on as quickly as we can. If we need to have local if any community is thinking about local evacuations, get it over with. Do it. Make a decision. And then whatever the local community is saying, listen and do it. Don't take a chance. You cannot afford to wait. Acting quickly and decisively is the most important thing we can do right now. Families. Our state will do whatever, and local communities I know are going to do everything they can to make sure that every family and visitor is prepared for any possible impact. But you've got to take care of yourself. 3 days of food, 3 days of water, have your medicine, know your evacuation route. Make sure you have fuel in the gas tanks. So check on your neighbors, check on your family, have a plan. So what's great about our state is in Florida, we take care of each other. We've been through storms. We survive our storms if we get prepared. So let's all stay safe, stay alert to weather updates, and watch the storm very closely. Michael can still change direction. We've seen that in the past with storms, and impact any part of our state. So the impacts are going to start in just a few hours, so get ready. There is no reason not to be prepared. None. We expect every family to be safe. I have a family, we all have families. I love my grandchildren, I love my family. I want my family to be safe, I want every family in the state to be safe. There's no reason somebody can't get safe food. We know the storm's coming. It's not like something that comes out of the blue. We know this is coming. So prioritize, get your family to safety. Don't take any chances. You can visit floridadisaster.org to make a plan and get information. You can get information on road closures, shelters, and evacuations, and it's constantly updated. You can visit fl511.com for current road conditions. You can also call the State Emergency Information Line for assistance. It is 1-800-342-3557, 1-800-342-3557, or you can follow us at FLCERT or at FLGovScott on Twitter for live updates. Con la llegada de este huracán, lo más importante que cada familia puede hacer es tener un plan. Familias deben tener por lo menos 3 días de comida, agua, medicamentos y otros suministros esenciales. Haga un plan hoy, o esté preparado. I'll be glad to answer any questions anybody has. Thanks, everybody.
Governor, not to bring politics into this, but we've already heard some grumblings from the Democratic side that you're making political hay with this by being here instead of the Panhandle. What would you say to that?
Well, my goal is to get everybody safe. If you look at this part of the state, we're going to see 6 to 8 feet. I mean, my goal is to get everybody to safety. This isn't about politics. As governor, I represent every family in the state. I want everybody to be safe. I love my family. I love all the families in the state. So I'm going to do whatever I can to get people safe.
Thank you,
I'm worried
Governor.
about people, again, who are not going to evacuate, just trying to ride it out.
Yes. And I'll be so disappointed if people don't listen to evacuation orders. There's a reason why everybody's up here. I mean, we are taking this seriously. Every family's got to take this seriously. The sheriff, they can't go out and save you in the middle of this storm. And by the way, if you have 6 feet of storm surge, I mean, and you're out in the middle of it, I don't know how you're going to survive it. I mean, this stuff. I give you 2 stories. After Ermine, I talked to a lady, and she was in a 1-story house, probably 7-foot ceiling. She had a bunch of pets, so she wanted to leave. The water got up to about a little less than my waist. She knew it was continuing to come in, and it was coming in fast. And she knew she was not going to survive. So thank God she got out of her house, and if there hadn't been somebody, I don't think she even knew them, in a high water vehicle, she would have perished. After Irma last year, if you went down to the Keys after that, here's what they got. They got 140-mile-an-hour winds. That was horrible. They got 14 inches of rain. That was horrible. They had 9 foot of storm surge. That water just came in, filled up those homes, and sucked everything out. The only thing left was something that either was attached to the wall or really heavy. Nothing. There was nothing in any of those homes. That's what storm surge does. So everybody's got to understand, storm surge is absolutely deadly. The thing that scares me the most is people have seen wind. They have seen a lot of rain. They've even seen flooding. They have not seen storm surge like this. So if 6 to 8 foot of storm surge in this area stay right here, that's massive.
Governor?
Thanks, everybody.
Governor, one quick question, just a message for Citrus County residents. What would you have them do right now?
Well, you've got an evacuation order right now. You've got, I think, you've got an evacuation order for, it's A, is that what it is?
Zone A, and those living in mobile homes, manufactured homes, RVs, countywide.
Yeah, so here's the deal. Understand, I mean, this part of the state, as we all know, it's very low lying, and so the storm surge can be deadly, it's going to be deadly if we're not careful. So everybody's got to listen to the evacuation orders, and you got to get out and do it now, because what you don't know is something falls, the road gets closed, some bridge gets closed, stuff like that. You can't get out, and then they can't. Once it starts, they can't come in to get you. So you have got to. I just tell everybody that, and the reason I'm traveling state is Michael is. Everybody listen to these evacuation orders and really stop and think about the storm surge. The thing that scares me the most is the fact that people have never seen storm surge like this. I mean, I was talking to the state meteorologist, and she says she doesn't, and we say in my talk that it's decades, she doesn't know when we've seen something like this in the Panhandle before. And we've had some horrible storms in the Panhandle. But Citrus County, and a lot of this area, Citrus, Taylor, leaving this area, they're so low lying. It's really dangerous, the storm surge. And the storm surge comes in for miles. I mean, and this is not a little bitty storm. This is a massive storm. It's not quite. I think the last time I saw it wasn't quite as big as Irma, but it's a massive storm, and it's moving.
Thanks,
All right,
everyone.
Thanks, everybody.